Alright guys, welcome back to the series. I'm talking about some Hisuian Pokemon, Hisuian new forms, and new Pokemon from Legends of Arceus, throwing them into a general VGC format, and kind of talking about them, thinking about what they could possibly do well if they've got some potential. So let's go ahead and talk about Braviary for this episode. I just talked about Arcanine. Let's talk about Braviary. Let's take a look at it. So Braviary has the same abilities, which I think is a huge bummer compared to normal Braviary. And I'm just going to outright say I think normal Braviary is probably better. But this one does have a couple of things going for it, and we will talk about that. Pretty interesting stuff. So let's go ahead and throw normal Braviary up here and Hisuian Braviary just to look at their stats and kind of see what has changed between their stats. So normal Braviary, we got 100 HP, 123 attack, 75 in defenses, 80 speed, special attack, whatever. So pretty slow, got some good bulk, good attack. This one, we've got 112 special attack, so not as strong as an attacker as Braviary. 83 attack, 70 defenses, actually lower defenses, but higher HP, so I'm going to say that defenses probably even out. And lower speed, so if we're looking at just pure stats, this normal Braviary just wins out. And then having Defiant really makes it work very well. But Sheer Force, I think, suits this Braviary a lot better. And we'll see what more moves it gets to see how good it could possibly be. But it can at least hit pretty hard, because Sheer Force off of a 112 is pretty strong. I'm trying to think of any other Sheer Force users and how strong they are. I think the other main Sheer Force user we've seen in VGC is like Landorus is a strong Sheer Force user. You're about as strong as Landorus is. At the occasional Conkeldurr, you're not catching up to Conkeldurr. You're gonna be stronger than like a Nidoking. I feel like those are the only Sheer Force users that we ever see. Is like Landorus and Nidoking. So you're different typing from that, and you're gonna be out damaging like a Nidoking. So pretty strong there. The bulk is pretty good. The typing is pretty interesting. You don't have any quad weaknesses, which is big. You are weak to electric, you are weak to rock, and you are weak to dark and ghost. So you have 4 weaknesses there. You no longer resist bug, whatever. You have a quad weakness or quad resistance to fighting, which is really cool. You gain a new resistance to psychic, which is neat. And I think that is all that is new. So other than that, not a bad typing for like a flying type. You trade off a couple weaknesses and bug resistance for new resistance to psychic, and more resistances to fighting. So it's whatever. I think typing is pretty like neutral. Nothing bad. Nothing really bad about it. The signature move of this Pokemon is Esper Wing, which raises the user's action speed, which is awesome, and heightens the chance of landing a critical hit. So this one, we'll have to see how it translates in, because if it does raise speed, or if it does have priority on it, which is what this basically means, that it has some priority on it, and it can land a crit, this could be really, really interesting. With Sheer Force, I believe you just get rid of the chance to hit a crit, but you still could get that action speed, so maybe this could be like a priority strong attack, But even then, you could just, instead of running Esper Ring, you run Psychic, and that's going to hit really hard. You've got Air Slash, you have Mystical Fire, which is some awesome coverage. You have Dazzling Gleam, which is really cool. Some more cool coverage. You have Calm Mind. Wait, it doesn't learn Calm Mind. Really? That's a bummer. Yeah, Bulk Up, but like whatever. Yeah, this thing not having Calm Mind it sucks. It would love to have a Calm Mind on it. I think the number one set for this Pokemon is going to be, it really depends on if they want to be nice and give this thing Trick Room, because if they give this thing Trick Room, even though the 65 speed is not amazing for Trick Room, it's still fine, and it's still going to be slower than a lot of Pokemon, a lot of non-Trick Room Pokemon, so doing some set, I feel like your sets are always going to look something like this. Most of the time, they're going to look something like this. But this Trick Room with a Psychic, an Air Slash, and a Mystical Fire. Or a Heat Wave. Because normal Braviary has Heat Wave. So maybe Heat Wave could be pretty cool. So you could Trick Room, you could, if you're in a Dynamax form, you could Dynamax, and then you could just start spamming these attacks. You could even just Trick Room and start spamming these attacks. In Trick Room, you could even drop, like, maybe you drop Air Slash for Heat Wave, just for some coverage if you really needed to. And throw something on, like, a Citrus Berry. You could throw on a Life Orb for some strong attacks, something like this. Otherwise, you could do, if you're doing a, if it doesn't get Trick Room, then you would run a Tailwind, basically in substitution of Trick Room. Always Sheer Force. Sheer Force 100% of the time, I'm telling you. I promise you. So instead you run Tailwind, and then you still just do, like, Psychic, Air Slash, Heat Wave, or Protect, or Roost. You could even do Roost, Life Orb. For this set, I would probably do something like this. So you're going to lose some bulk here. Which is why I just like the Trick Room ones better. You just keep more bulk. You don't necessarily have to do this, but, like, you probably should. Put some things into speed EVs. Do something along the lines of this. Other than that, it's hard to tell its full moveset because its moveset is much different than a normal Braviary. But it could be a pretty good Dynamax Pokemon, just with like max Airstream, a stab max Airstream, and setting up Psychic terrain could be interesting if it gets Expanding Force. That could be pretty cool. You could put it next to an Expanding Force Pokemon or a Psychic terrain Pokemon like Indeedee. It could pair really well with Indeedee. Kind of be like what a Hatterene is, but maybe even hitting a little harder than a Hatterene. Let me look at Hatterene. 136. There's Sheer Force. So Hatterene's probably just outright better than you. Yeah, this Hatterene is just outright better than you. Has Magic Bounce too, so it can't get taunted. It's just like, yeah, this thing's just outright better than you. So it's not the most impressive Pokemon ever. I don't think. As for other moves, I really don't know what else it could be running. Having U-turn is cool, but like doing a Defiant set on this is just not worth it. You're just gonna be running Special Attack all the time. And yeah, we'll have to see, you know, what other moves it gets. But from there, its main set is just gonna be some kind of speed control, and then you sit there with like a Life Orb and you Sheer Force things until you die. If it gets Trick Room, I think it has potential to be pretty good. If it doesn't have Trick Room, I don't think it's going to be very good at all. I really don't think it's going to be very good at all. And yeah, so we'll have to see on the movesets. In terms of this moveset, you know, cool coverage and like Mystical Fire, Dazzling Gleam. All of that is really cool. Yeah, just having the fire coverage for this thing is pretty cool. But nothing to write home about. I think it's the weakest Pokemon I've talked about so far. Unfortunately. It's cool. You know, I'd love to give it a shot. If it gets Trick Room, you know, that's great. If not, then not so much. So yeah. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.